Now that we have power back, welcome back to some more Stormworks. I am StormRunner Gaming, and today I'm starting out this video with the Voyager. You guys may have seen this in previous episodes of mine. It's a pretty capable ship that I've been using more recently because it is very fast. It gets you where you need to go, and it hasn't been having many problems. So it's a good mid-sized ship, and I have a brick on the back of it at the moment, and you guys will see why I have that in a second, because if I zoom out a little bit here, keep going a little bit more, you'll see that like Pinocchio nose on the front of it, and then this gigantic scale for some reason. And what I'll actually be doing with this gigantic scale, I've marked out each 5, of course, with 2 blocks, and each 1 meter with 1 block. And I'm going to go out onto the ocean, and I'm going to try to measure how tall the waves get, because I'm not exactly sure. I want to see if it's around the same as in real life, and as of right now, I don't know what the generic wave in real life is, or in like a max storm. Like you can go to your settings. Like if I go to my settings here real quick, and the time of day weather, I can change winds up to 100%. What would be the max in real life for like 100%? I don't know exactly. I mean, maybe bigger than this game, and that's why they keep pushing the size of the waves up more and more. But I want to see what they're at now, and then I'll go and do a little bit of research and see actually how big waves get in like a nasty storm type of thing, like maybe a hurricane or something, and see if the waves would actually get as bad as they are in game, or if they're lighter than actually what happens in real life. So we're actually gonna have to go and start up my boat here, and I'll be with you guys once I actually get out onto the water here. I'm probably gonna have to go out to deeper ocean here, because the waves actually get bigger the further out you're away from land, and that's kind of what it's like in real life. For the most part, it's like that. And let me make sure I don't sink my boat here by scraping it on the side there. And I can actually condense this down a little bit. I just slapped a throttle over here to control those 2 pivots, because the entire build box is only 20 meters tall here. As you can see, there's 2 blocks going up to the top there. It's technically 19 meters in to be exact, but yeah, I made it a total of 25 meters on my thing, so once I click this up, I can get a full 25 meters of height there to see. I doubt the waves are taller than that. Maybe the tsunami is, and maybe for a future episode, I will go up and try and measure the tsunami, but that's going to be even more difficult than... Actually, that might be easier than waves, because I don't have to be fighting the other waves. I just have 1 tsunami to measure here. But anyways, once I get out to some deeper ocean here, I'll be back with you guys to see you then. Alright, we are decently far away from land. I'm going to be turning off both the motors here, so we're not moving as well. So hopefully we can get a decently good reading here. And I'm going to go to the time of day weather. And first off, I'm going to try about just 50% here and see what kind of readings I can get. I'm actually going to go into our photo mode here, because we can just click pause and play to actually give us some good readings for our meter stick here. It's actually a stick of meters, whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't seem like the 50% waves are that big. Maybe we give it 3 to 4 meter waves, it looks like, on that, from where the water is starting it. Let's see real quick. Stop it right there. That doesn't help me out much. Maybe if I... Nope. See, the problem is it's moving. So, if I take the depth here and run my camera over to that, yeah, it's only like a 2.5 to 3 meter tall wave. That's actually not too bad, but then again, my boat is still sinking into there pretty well. It's crazy. Water physics, am I right? Okay. So this wave, yeah, I'm not seeing 2 big waves, but once you push it to like 75%, yeah, that's a 2 meter wave, maybe 3, because it's a little bit lower than where the boat is actually. So 50% excuse me, doesn't give you much of a challenge per se as waves for at least a medium to large sized boat. Like 3 to 4 meter waves aren't going to be too bad on your boat. We can actually push it up to 75, and the scaling is totally not to scale, because you go 25 is like maybe a half meter wave. 50% seems like 2 to 3 meter waves, like a small vessel advisory. Now you go up to 75%, and maybe it's okay. I might be wrong, totally wrong. Maybe it's multiples it's going up by. So let's see if I pause that. Like, oh, I'm not in camera mode. Give me 1 second. We are actually paused right here. These waves are decently, I'd say it goes down to almost the bottom of that. So we're getting at least 5 meter tall waves here from the 75%. So I might be totally wrong, and it might just be scaling by multiples. I assume that's what's happening here with it. We can actually look. This is a good indicator. Well, we see the regular water level is like down here. So 1, 2, 3, maybe a 4 to 5. Well, we've actually got it higher over here at 75%. So what is that? That's got to be at least a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 meter wave there at 75%. I don't know if we may have saw 1 or 2 4-meter tall waves, but that's got to be a bigger one. I'm really interested to see what comes out of the 100% waves. And if anybody's questioning why I'm running around with the Pinocchio nose and the measurement system on the front of the Voyager here today, it's just because I was thinking about it the other day while playing the game and building another boat. Like, people just estimate how tall the waves are in Stormworks, and like nobody's actually came out and measured it like this, especially in higher wave conditions. That's actually a half decent wave. So you've got the low point here. It's one above the double, and we've got the high point right here. That's decently tall. I'd say about right there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. Let's say 11 meter tall, 10 to 11 meter tall wave from the valley of it to the peak of it. I don't know the exact names of this. I know somebody out there will know it, or there's Google, of course, if you do want to know it for yourself. But now that we've got anywhere from maybe a 5 meter tall wave to a 12 meter tall wave in 75%. Now I'm going to push it to 100% and see how massive these waves can get. Like, look, they're already ramping up how tall they are getting, and the wind is whipping past us. So I'm assuming what the developers assumed, this is like super high wind, like a hurricane is running through or something. And I'm not seeing any great waves to measure yet with my boat here. That might be a half decent one coming up right now. Let's pause it. Oh, I'm not in camera mode. I keep forgetting to do that. Let me take away the GUI there, or the HUD. And it looks like it's leveled to about maybe where our stick is here. We've got the top of the wave being over here. That's actually decently tall. Look at that. We're getting close to that's getting close to the top of the measurement thing here. I'd give it like 1 below the top there, and we said it's at the stick here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, let's count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A 16 meter tall wave. That's a pretty decent wave we got right there from the valley to the top. And actually, I'm going to go look up 2 things real quick before I keep measuring these max waves here. And I'll be right back with that. Alright, I've got 2 little tidbits of information here real quick. We've got the parts of the wave, which are the crescent and the trough. So the crescent is the part up here that is bubbling. That usually has that curling effect, and the trough is the valley in between it. That's at least the scientific term for a wave. Maybe a radio wave. I'm not exactly sure if that's a ocean wave as well, but that's what I'm going to go with for the moment. And I actually looked it up, and in high waves and some hurricanes, the biggest waves they were able to find were anywhere from 20 to 30 meters tall. So they've actually got like real life high wind situations here pretty well. They've accurately depicted it with the sizes of the waves they got here, because we had a what was it, a 20 something earlier, and we can measure one or two more here. Now that I'm going to pause it, we've actually got that pretty well. We've got the trough right here and the crescent up there. It's interesting to note that the physics of the water as well go up where the ship is here. And I mean, I assume the ship is pushing water around it or something. It's interesting because we have a lower trough here than where the ship is actually. So let's take this measurement here. We've got it to, what is that, 4 above, 1 above that double there. And is this wave going to go higher than the max over there? Well, this one actually looks a bit shorter. We've got it there, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 17 meter tall wave, I would assume. Just about there, not assume. I'm trying to measure it to my best ability. I do apologize if I mess it up a little bit, but I mean, that seems to be accordance with what kind of happens in real life. I mean, real life, wide open ocean type of high wind situation during a storm or a hurricane or another type of tropical storm type of thing, monsoons and all that other type of stuff. So you'd have high winds and big waves like this ranging from anywhere like 20 to 30 meters. And I assume that's what we're getting now, at least 20 meter tall waves from the trough to crescent. But yeah, so I'd say we'd probably get a max of 20 at the most. Like, this one seems decently big. Actually, that one is pretty big. I wonder if I can get a good measurement on that real quick. Actually, my meter stick is a little bit off already. If I could only back up, that would help me. Well, there's another nice and big one coming here. Oh, that one chucked me as well. That was a nice and big wave. So let's try and measure this one last wave and see how tall it actually is. I know these aren't exact measurements, but let's say it's some type of like double wave here. Let's go from the bottom of the scale we got there, excuse me, and the top of that. That's actually not too tall. That, what is that? 1918. That's 17 meters tall again, even with the little bump of water. I don't know if we even have anything that reaches. I think a max in the game is probably around 20 meters. So I guess that is the answer to the question of how tall are waves in Stormworks. It probably got, I'm like 99% sure none of them go over like 20 meters tall, because I've seen anywhere from like 15 to 20 meters with this. At a max, that was another big one. I wasn't in camera mode, whoops. Here, let me grab one more wave for you guys where I get it perfectly, and then I will end the video here with one of those huge ones that's going to chuck me in a second. Alright, this one last wave I've got here, I've measured it out pretty well, and we've got about a 19 meter tall wave. And of course, if you are on the non-metric system like the US, well, I use it myself too, I am in the US, but in feet, I believe it's a conversion of 3 to 1, 3 feet to 1 meter. Approximately 3 feet to 1 meter. There's a decimal point somewhere in there. But of course, yeah, that is about all the time I do have for some scientific... Am I zoomed in there? Oh, that was weird. I came back to my character and it was all zoomed in and stuff. Yeah, that is about all the time I do have to do some scientific studies out on the oceans of Stormworks here. If you guys do want to tell me your findings, if you guys have seen any waves bigger than 20, if you want to make your own measurements, put photos in the Discord or whatever, I'd be happy to see what you guys are getting or what you assume the height is for on these waves here, because I might not have been totally accurate in my judgment or my my measurement of the waves, but yeah, it seems like at 100% power, those waves are giving you anywhere between like 15 to around 20 meter waves for the tallest that they are getting. So yeah, guys, also I'd like to hear your comments on this, and you have anything else you'd like me to measure or read out in Stormworks, I'd be happy to hear about that in the comments down below. Anyways, of course, if you guys did like this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up with Stormworks and more of my content. But I've never been great at goodbyes, so people need me, and I need to go.